the city, lots of controversy around it, but the city wants to kind of raise the sales tax 1/4 of 1 cent. Very minuscule amount that probably most people won't even notice. But there's a lot of talk about it right now, and I do know that you support this. And personally, I support it too. I live in Milpitas. A couple things, and I'm gonna let you say your piece about it because I know I know you have an answer kind of brewing in there for this, but not only it's 1/4 of 1 cent. That's not a lot of money. For every $4, it's gonna be a penny. That's not a lot of money. But if I'm not wrong, even if it passes, we will still have one of the lowest sales tax in the entire Bay Area. I know Mountain View is higher. I know San Jose is a bit higher. I don't know all the percentages off the top of my head, but is to the best of your knowledge, is that pretty true?
That's true. So I'm supportive of the sales tax. I am. And I am probably calling me fiscally conservative would be a good label for me. At the same time, it would be you'd be mistaken to say what that means is I'm against all taxes, that I don't like spending money. When you use that label with me, what it means is I just want to know that we have the dollars to spend when we spend them, and that we're spending them in the manner in which we told you we were going to. So at this point, there's a number of things with that sales tax that I asked for before I agreed to vote for it. Number one, there's an actual limit that cities, all agencies can collect. If this passes, in fact, we will hit that limit. But if it doesn't pass, and say another agency in this county passes theirs, we will not be able to raise ours again because the limit will have been hit. So we won't be able to benefit from that again. We will be stuck at the lower limit unless the state legislature does something different.
And real quick, when you say if another agency raises theirs, are you talking about another city or another entity that charges tax?
Yeah, the county.
Okay.
Or VTA, or one of those agencies that encompasses us, and there's some on the ballot. So if they get their sales tax passed and we don't, we now have reached the threshold, and we won't be able to, number one. Number two, I'm a firm believer that if you're going to tax, I'll start with me. If you're going to tax me, give me a voice in what you're going to spend those dollars on. And so we've done that. Number two, give me an opportunity to check you in what that you're going to do what you said. So I'm thankful that the council agreed with my recommendation to put in an oversight, citizens oversight board that are going to be able to see where the dollars are that's coming in from this sales tax, and match those expenditures against the sales tax that comes in. We said we're going to spend it on public safety and on this and on this. Hold us to that. Don't let us spend those dollars some other way, and come back and report to the city council. We looked at the dollars collected. Here they are. You said you were going to spend it in these areas, and you did. Or we don't agree with you spending it in this one area. It didn't match, and let us correct that. So in my mind, it allows us to look at the dollars we collect and spend it in a manner that really hits the higher priorities that were found in a survey we took of all the citizens.
And so what would those priorities be? Most of them.
Public safety.
Okay.
And then in the how we look at the services that we provide, those being to the seniors, to the parks and recreation. And those are the ones that I think stand out right now. But also, I think one of the things we would look at is the general upkeep of these roads and streets within our purview. So not so much Calaveras, which is a state street, not Montague, which is a county road, but all the other ones, which really are you need if you're going to be able to go to work and those kinds of things. You want to make sure that our roads are well maintained.
Well, yeah, especially now because we have so much new development. There's going to be a lot more cars on the road, and you know, actually, I've noticed Milpitas is doing quite a bit of road maintenance right now to kind of taking advantage of a lot less cars being on the road, which is pretty cool. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I mean, I like that. I like the fact that there's oversight. Um, and of course I like the fact that the residents get to vote on it. Um, and kind of the grim truth that I kind of see in this is we can either, you know, suck it up and pay one more penny for every $4 that we spend.
Mhm.
Or if someone's breaking into our house at midnight, instead of police getting to our house in 2 minutes, it could take 4 or 5. And
That's right.
that's the grim kind of truth that I see with this. And people don't really want to hear that. And it's kind of a dramatic situation, but it's also very realistic. Right now, it's if I called the police right now and said there's someone in my front yard, they'd be here in 2 minutes. At work, I work in Milpitas, and I've had to call the police before, and they've showed up literally in like 2 minutes. It's crazy, and I feel like that's one of the main things on the line. There's a lot of other things like just jobs in general. We don't want to furlough any jobs. We don't want to lay people off. We don't want to all this stuff. But what's really going to affect everyone in the city is public safety response time, and I feel like that's like the most important thing here.
Oh, I have to tell you that I agree with you 100%. There are, I talk about two things whenever I talk about this tax and about public safety, because the example you use, it always hits home when it's your example. Uh, in on the fire side, my mother-in-law, we brought her up here from Southern California to live with us. She took a fall, and it was the firefighters from Station 3 that came to help us. I have never experienced that before, and they were able to help us get her up off the floor because I couldn't do it. Able to transport her to the hospital, make sure that my wife and I were okay because we were not handling it well. And I truly believe they saved her life. And you were correct. They were there in under a minute. I mean, I was
Wow.
shocked how quick they got there. And the doctors told us if it weren't for them, she would not have made it. I still remember to this day that here we were driving back from Los Angeles, um, and I get this phone call from the police department, uh, and they said, "Bob, um, did your alarm go off? On your app?" And I said, "No." And they go, "Well, we're at your front door." They showed me on their camera. My front door was open, and I thought, "Wow." Um, Luckily, I have a screen in front of it, but um, turn around. We got here as quick as we could. Um, what amazed me is they got there. You're correct, in 2 minutes
Yep.
from the time the alarm hit. Nothing was taken, but the thought that um, they got there that quick, were able to contact me for me to get here. I remember at times in other cities that I lived in that I found out after my house was cleaned out that somebody had been inside my house. I can tell you that we have the best. police and fire, I believe, any place, not only in this county, but in this state. Um, and if it is truly 1 cent, it is worth it.
Yeah. No, I 100% completely agree. I'll tell you a story really quick. So I don't know if you remember this. I think it was last year. It was last year. There was a shooting on 680 by the Burger King that was fatal.
Hmm.
Um, and this guy, he caused a lot of trouble until he messed with the wrong park rangers, and they took him out. But so the funny thing about that is I was at Burger King. I was in the drive-through. All my windows were down, and so it was on the 680 on ramp off Landis, right there. Uh, so for people who can't picture that, I'm about 10 to 15 feet away from the on ramp. There's nothing separating the drive-through at Burger King from the on ramp, except some bushes. And I remember I saw this car pull over into the side, and I see someone walk up and fire 9 shots into the driver's seat
Hmm.
with the guy in there. I was literally like 10, 15 feet away from this looking at it. And the crazy thing is I knew that one of two things were going to happen. Either he was going to just run away, or he was going to look in my direction, see that I had a car that was on, and come and do the same to me and take my car and get out of there. I'm very fortunate that he just ran away. He didn't come up to me. But, I watched that whole thing happen. So I called 911, obviously. And I was somehow sent to San Jose. I was on the border. That's on the border of San Jose and Milpitas. So I was actually sent to San Jose dispatch. San Jose was just like, well, that's not in San Jose, so we can't do anything about that. Sorry. And they transferred me to Milpitas. And Milpitas was like, wow, okay, that's actually Highway Patrol. That is not Milpitas because it's on the freeway. But you know what? We're going to send units out there anyway, because that sounds serious. They didn't send 1 unit. They didn't send 2 units. They sent out 4. So 2 went to the on-ramp. And then 2 others were searching surrounding areas. And then after they dispatched Milpitas, then they transferred me over to CHP, Highway Patrol, and then I was able to talk to them, and then CHP was able to send out some guys too. The crazy thing is CHP took forever to get there because they have a lot of ground to cover. But Milpitas, they sent them out instantly, and they sent out 4 units. And, that was a just response because it was just kind of crazy. I just watched someone get murdered right in front of me. Not just like, stabbed, or he was shot 9 times in front of me. And, it was very nice knowing that Milpitas Police was on it. And the way I see it is that's what we're voting on. We're voting on, is Milpitas going to be able to handle situations like that in the future? And don't get me wrong, I know our police chief. He's a great guy. He knows what he's doing. And he'll make it work, but making it work sometimes means, instead of 2 minutes to get to the person who's trying to break down your door, it's going to take 3 or 4. And those extra 2 minutes could mean your life.
I fully agree. I fully agree.
And so, and this sales tax is a very important thing. It's a very small measure to maintain everyone's safety. I mean, we've been having tons of fires lately because of either PG&E or the heat or lightning. We had a freaking lightning storm, a dry lightning storm that set multiple fires. You don't know what's going to happen. And with our population growing, we need to make sure that we can keep our public safety, funded and all that. So I don't want to rant on about that too long.
No. But I agree. And one of the things that I tell people, so I believe when this passes, we're still going to have to tighten our belts, but I want to tighten them in areas that don't involve our public safety. I don't want to give up um, um, either your property or your life versus someplace else. Um, let's look other places to make reductions or cuts, but not on when it's late at night and who's lurking out there in the shadows.
Yeah.
There's we want to make sure that everyone's safety is at a level that we're comfortable in the city where it's always been safe.